Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rajiv Kumar Mente, working as Assistant Professor in School of Computational Science, Punyashlok Ahilyadevi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur. Today's my presentation is related with conceptual model of UML. In this presentation, we will see purpose of UML, where can the UML be used, conceptual model of the UML and the structural things. Now, the UML is a language used for visualizing, specifying, constructing and documenting the artifacts of a software intensive system. A modeling language is a language whose vocabulary and rules focus on the conceptual and physical representation of a system. A modeling language such as UML is thus a standard language for software blueprints. Now, the first is the UML is for visualizing. The UML is a bunch of graphical symbols. Each symbol in a UML notation is a well defined semantics. Therefore, one developer can write a model in the UML and another developer or tool can interpret that model. Now, the second one, the UML is for specifying. Specifying means building models that are precise, unambiguous and complete. The UML addresses the specification of all important analysis, design and implementation decisions that must be made in developing and deploying a software intensive system. The third one, the UML is for constructing. UML models can be directly connected to a variety of programming languages. This means it has possible to map from a model in the UML to a programming language such as Java, C++, Visual Basic or even to tables in relational database or the persistent store of an object oriented systems. It is possible to generate code from a UML model into a programming language. A reverse is also possible, that is, you can reconstruct a model into programming language and you can model or you can reconstruct a model from in implementation back to the UML. The UML language is for documenting. The UML addresses a language for documentation of a system's architecture and all of its details. The UML also provides a language for expressing requirements and for test. It also provides a language for modeling the activities of project planning and management. Now, we will see where can the UML be used. The UML is intended for software intensive systems. It has been effectively for such domains as enterprise information systems, banking and financial services, telecommunications, transportation, defense or aerospace, medical electronics and distributed web based services. The UML is not limited to modeling software. It is also used to model non-software systems such as a workflow in the legal system, the structure of patient healthcare system and the design of hardware. Now, we will see the conceptual model of the UML. The conceptual model requires three elements. The first one, basic building blocks. Second, the rules that dictate how the building blocks may put together, and the third one, some common mechanisms that apply throughout the UML. Now, the building blocks of the UML. The vocabulary of the UML consists of three kinds of building blocks. The first one is things, second relationships, and the third one is the diagrams. Things are the abstractions and relationships tie these things together, and the diagrams group interesting collection of things. Now, we will see what are the things in UML. There are four types of things. The first is structural things, second is behavioral things, third is grouping things, and the fourth one is annotational things. These things are basic object oriented building blocks of the UML. Now, the structural things. Structural things are the nouns of UML models. These are mostly static parts of a model and represents the elements that tie either conceptual or physical things. Now, there are 7 kinds of structural things. The first one is class, second interface, third collaboration, next one is use case, then active class, component, and the last is the nodes. We will see these things now one by one. The first one is the class. As you know, a class is a description of a set of objects that share the same attributes, operations, relationships, and semantics. Graphically, a class is rendered as a rectangle including its name, attributes, and operations. As shown in this particular figure, the window is the name of the class, origin and size, these are the attributes available in the class, whereas open, close, move and display, these are the methods related with the class. Second one is interface. An interface is a collection of operations that specify a service of a class or component. An interface defines a set of operation specifications, that is their signatures, but never a set of operation implementations. Graphically, an interface is rendered as a circle together with its name. An interface rarely stands alone. It is typically attached to the class or component that realizes the interface. As shown in this particular figure, each pass is the name of the interface, which is represented by the circle. Third one, a collaboration defines an interaction and is a society of roles and other elements that work together to provide some cooperative behavior that is bigger than the sum of all elements. Therefore, collaborations have structural as well as behavioral dimensions. A given class might participate in several collaborations. Graphically, a collaboration is rendered as an ellipse with dashed lines including only its name. As shown in this particular figure, chain of responsibility is the name of the collaboration. Fourth, a use case is a description of a set of sequence of actions that a system performs that yields an observable result of value to a particular actor. A use case is used to structure the behavioral things of the model. A use case is rendered as an ellipse with solid lines. Here in the figure, place order is the name of the use case. Then the fifth one, an active class is a class whose objects own one or more processes or threads and therefore can initiate control activity. An active class is just like a class except that its objects represents elements whose behavior is concurrent with other elements. Graphically, an active class is rendered just like a class, but with heavy lines, usually including its names, attributes and operations. Here in the figure, event manager is the name of the active class with attribute event ID and the methods or the member functions as suspend and flush. The next is a component. A component is a physical and replaceable part of a system that conforms to and provides the realization of a set of interfaces. A component typically represents the physical packaging of logical elements such as classes, interfaces and collaborations. Graphically, a component is rendered as a rectangle with tabs. As shown in this particular figure, orderform.java is the component. And the last one is a node. A node is a physical element that exists at a runtime and represents a computational resource having at least some memory and processing capabilities. Here it is denoted or rendered, graphically rendered as a cube. As shown in this particular figure, server is the node. That is the end of this presentation. Thank you.